to February's webinar here, Heart to Heart. As February is American Heart Month, we felt it a great opportunity to share information with everyone near and far about cardiovascular health. Anna, Kelly, and myself will be discussing key points, education, and lifestyle changes through the acronym Go Red. As we begin each letter of the acronym, we hope you will join us in a beginner-friendly, low-impact heart health exercise. A few things before we get into today's topics. And I know Anna's getting the webinar, the next slide in. But this webinar, as you may have been notified, will be recorded. It'll also be emailed out to everyone in attendance. If you have to leave the webinar early or want to revisit the content, the recording will be uploaded to our Yammer community and also to our YouTube channel. The slide deck will also be available for you to review as well. And then also when it comes to our webinars, our goal is to engage and interact with the participants, each one of you, as much as we can throughout the course of the presentation. So please utilize chat or the Q&A section to ask questions or just share information with other participants. It's always nice to have that community interaction as well, not only just the interaction with us. So we will respond throughout. Verbally if we can, but if not, if we can't get to your question, know that we will contact you individually with the information to the best of our knowledge. And then Healthier Together. Be sure, if you haven't already, utilize that platform as a means of health and wellness. There's so many great resources for Medtronic employees, from stretching to exercise, even to more of that mental well-being resources as well. So here are just those quick steps of registering if you haven't registered for the Healthier Together program yet. Again, you can always revisit that when the slide deck comes out later. So cardiovascular disease is the #1 killer of women, causing 1 in 3 deaths each year. Go Red is the American Heart Association's signature women's initiative designed to increase women's heart health awareness and serve as a catalyst for change to improve the lives of women globally. Go Red is about women making a commitment to stand together and take charge in their own heart health. But it is also an opportunity for everyone, men, women, friends, family, to take a moment and consider your own heart health and take steps and lifestyle changes to live a healthier life. So let's have a heart-to-heart through the Go Red acronym, where we will discuss your numbers, your lifestyle, your risk, educating the people close to you, and being vocal about heart health. The first part of Go Red is get your numbers. The G stands for get your numbers. But before we begin, like I said earlier, we are wanting to include a heart health exercise before each of the acronyms. So you can see from that little heart symbol there in the bottom right-hand corner, that is that indication that we are going to do a heart health exercise. So please join me standing up if you'd like to, and join me in just a simple stretch. So with this simple stretch, we're going to just stretch the side of our torso here. So feel free to just hold the hands at the center of the chest if this is more comfortable, or reaching up overhead as you tip to the side. And we'll just alternate from right to left. And when you achieve that end range of motion, allow yourself to pause and hold for maybe 1 to 3 seconds, depending on how tight, how much of a stretch you need. So stretching is a great heart healthy exercise to get the body moving. It's a little bit of physical activity throughout your day. And be sure to breathe, exhale as you get to that end range of motion. And we'll do just a couple more here to the right and to the left, being sure to do an equal number on each side. So when you're ready, you can go ahead and relax out of that stretch. Feel free to either stay standing if you'd like, or just take your seat again. So like I said, G stands for get your numbers. We all know a lot about numbers by heart, considering like things like phone numbers, birthdays, maybe even your weight on a scale, or the metrics and certain numbers that kind of coincide with your work responsibilities. But do you know the most critical numbers for your heart health? That's the biggest question here as we get started. So high blood pressure is a condition that makes the heart work harder than normal. When left untreated, it scars and damages your arteries and can lead to heart disease. Healthy, normal blood pressure for men and women should be less than 120 systolic, which is the pressure in the arteries when the heart beats, and then less than 80 diastolic, which is the pressure in the arteries between heartbeats. Moving into another health metric or number that you should be aware of when it comes to heart disease, cardiovascular health, your cholesterol level. Cholesterol is not inherently bad. Your liver makes all the cholesterol you need. The remainder comes from the food that we consume, a lot of times from animal sources, or even from kind of some dairy sources as well. Foods high in saturated fat and trans fats cause your liver to produce more cholesterol than it otherwise would. High levels of the bad LDL cholesterol type increase the risk. Cholesterol will slowly build up in the inner walls of the arteries and cause blockage. High cholesterol is one of the major controllable risk factors for atherosclerosis, coronary heart disease, heart attack, and stroke. So knowing your numbers as well as your family history can help you and your medical provider create a heart healthy plan. Now, most of what we eat as we move into the blood glucose level or fasting blood sugar levels, most of what you eat is converted into glucose by your body and then is used for energy. In order to use glucose efficiently, the pancreas produces a hormone called insulin, which carries glucose from the bloodstream into the cells of the body. Diabetes results when either the pancreas doesn't produce enough insulin or the body develops insulin resistance due to factors such as diet high in refined sugars and carbohydrates, inactive lifestyle, or family history of the disease. When there is not enough insulin or the body doesn't use insulin efficiently, blood glucose or blood sugar levels build up in the bloodstream, which, if left untreated, can lead to complications like kidney disease, unhealthy cholesterol levels, heart disease, and stroke. And now we move into that fourth metric here, BMI, body mass index. BMI is not just about aesthetics, how you look. BMI in conjunction with other health metrics can be a good indicator of your risk for diabetes or even heart disease. If our bodies have excess visceral fat, which is the fat that is stored inside the belly and also wrapped around the organs like the liver and intestines, it can make the heart and your other vital organs work harder than they need to. So BMI above 25 can raise your blood sugar, increase the bad LDL cholesterol, raise your triglyceride levels, decrease the good HDL cholesterol that you need, which overall increases your risk, again, for diabetes and heart disease. So from the American Heart Association, I really liked this phrase: you can't manage what you don't measure. So we as a team, we want to advocate that you talk to your healthcare provider and also on a regular basis, get your numbers so that you can identify your risks and begin building a plan to get on track for that healthy heart. Now I'd like to send it over to Anna for the letter O in Go Red.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Kyle. So a Our heart health exercise is going to be 10 jumping jacks. Now you can do these modified. You can do them seated if you need to swing your arms overhead. So 10 jumping jacks. So when you're ready, you can stand up. You can do a full jumping jack, jumping out and in, or you can tap 1 foot out at a time. So do your 10 reps. You can do it seated if you want to tap. 10 reps, whatever pace you'd like. I want to make sure I don't get too winded. So I'm going to do my tap option. Do your 10 reps. And then come back down. And we will continue on. I got to make sure I don't get too winded there so I can keep talking. Alrighty, so going into owning your lifestyle. I'll break down into a few different categories for different ways that you can own your lifestyle. So we've done a series, so many different webinars where we've talked about these topics in more depth. So this will be a sort of a high level overview of different ways you can own your lifestyle. But on the very last slide of this slide deck, and you'll get that sent to you afterwards, I encourage you to take a look at our previous webinars. We have over 20 that we've recorded, all very in-depth on these different topics. So if you want to learn more, please check out our previous webinars. So when it comes to your owning your lifestyle, there are so many different approaches you can take. While we'll be covering a wide range of possibilities in this next section, I really encourage you to pick one area to focus on for the next few weeks or months and see how that impacts your overall health and well-being. Sometimes we like to go all or nothing. We like to try every possible thing, truly overhaul our life. And sometimes we fail when we do that. So I really challenge you to find one thing from this webinar that you'll try to implement. One of the simplest and most straightforward ways you can own your lifestyle is to move more and to move often. We've gone into, like I mentioned, these topics in depth, so I really encourage you to check those out if you'd like. So you may have heard over the years to get your cardio in. If you want to be fit, if you want to lose fat, you have to do your cardio. While cardiovascular exercise is critical to your overall health, it isn't the only way that you can exercise to improve your heart health. Here are some of the many benefits of aerobic exercise. And you saw these metrics when Kyle spoke to these numbers. So these are all ways that you can improve those numbers. Once you get those numbers and know kind of where you're at, here are some things that you can do to influence those. One of the bullet points that I want to highlight is decreasing the risk of heart disease. There are countless studies out there showing time and time again the benefits of aerobic exercise. So I really challenge you to find ways to move that motivate you. And I'll go into that a little more on this next slide. So here are the recommendations of aerobic exercise per week. Now you may see 150 minutes and think, oh my goodness, that is so much time over the week. But if you break it down per day, that breaks down to less than 22 minutes per day. So less than 22 minutes per day of something that gets your heart rate up slightly above that baseline, you'll be meeting those recommendations. And so many people are meeting or exceeding and they don't realize. So these are some other great numbers to know. So now take these two scenarios, for example. You have option one is you go on a jog for 30 minutes after work. So that's kind of one scenario. You have a 30-minute workout right in a row. And then your other scenario is you break it down into little digestible chunks. So maybe a 5-minute dance break after a morning meeting, or a 15-minute fit break in the afternoon, a 10-minute bike ride to the park in the evening. Research suggests that your body receives, for the most part, the same physiological benefits if you were to exercise for 30 minutes in one bout, or if you were to break it up throughout the day. If it's that same 30 minutes, you'll be receiving, for the most part, the same physiological benefits. So if you feel like 22 minutes right in a row each day is unattainable with your schedule, I know we all have busy meetings, we have kids, we've got events to go to, things to go, places, people to see, and all of that. So really think about what's going to be attainable for you. If it's going to be a 30-minute bout all in once, a 60-minute bout, or is it going to be breaking it up throughout the day? Exercise should not be boring. So really find ways that you like to move. For me, I recently signed up for a dance fitness program because I used to dance my whole life. So it's been fun to kind of get back into that. And I've been passing the soccer ball back and forth in our basement with my husband. So it doesn't always need to be a 5K run or, crazy hard spin workout. You can move in ways that are motivating to you. Some other ways to exercise to own your lifestyle would be resistance and strength training. Resistance training is just as important as aerobic exercise. Resistance training is really any exercise that causes the muscles to contract against an external resistance. Now, there was a study published in 2019 that evaluates the association between push-up capacity and subsequent cardiovascular disease event incidences in a cohort of active adult men. So they were comparing your push-up capacity to the likelihood of a cardiovascular event. Participants did their baseline examination and determined how many push-ups they could do. And they followed up with those participants 10 years later. Significant negative associations were found between increasing push-up capacity and CVD, cardiovascular disease event incidence. So the participants that were able to do more than 40 push-ups were associated with a significantly lower risk of a cardiovascular disease incident event, compared to those who could do less than 10. So I know 40 may seem like a lot, but I'd like to challenge you to think to yourself, maybe when was the last time you did a push-up, or how many push-ups can you do right now? So just think about that, and the more you can do, the likelihood of your risk for cardiovascular disease would be decreased. Now, conveniently, last month's monthly fitness focus was push-ups. So if you would like a challenge, or if you want to find a way to work on your push-ups in an attainable way, on the slide, we have a link to that tracker, a demo video. So you don't have to do, if you imagine like full-blown push-ups, you can do push-ups on your knees, against a wall, a table. I show a lot of variations in there. Resistance training can also involve free weights, machines, resistance bands, or just your body weight working against gravity. It can often be overlooked, but it's an essential form of exercise for overall fitness and improved quality of life. So here are just a brief overview of the recommendations. Oops, I didn't realize my mouse did that, sorry. So here's an overview of the recommendations, and you can check those out when you get the slide deck. So another way to own your lifestyle is to look at your habits. Now, I cannot emphasize enough the importance of starting small. As I mentioned before, we're covering a wide range of topics. So think about one area that you want to focus on. Now, you can always come back to this recording, come back to the slide deck when you're ready to take on another aspect of owning your lifestyle. Now, for me, I'll compare it to kind of my personal goals so you can see how I use these bullet points in my own life, and maybe that can help you determine how you're going to implement them in yours. So for me, I have kind of a large, multifaceted goal of just living a healthier life overall. So I want to, lose weight, train more, eat healthier, be on my phone less, deepen my relationships. There's all these things that I, ideally would love to achieve. And I think we all have these large scale goals in our life, and there's nothing wrong with that at all. Now, if you're trying to overhaul your life all at once, for the most part, we fail when we try to do everything all at once. So you need to start small. I chose one aspect of my life that I thought I could measure easily, something that would be easy for me, but also something that I would feel an impact from, kind of my biggest game changer. So something that I would do every day that I would feel the impact of that. So I chose to reach 10,000 steps every day for all of 2023, no matter what. So that's my goal. Now I did this for 100 days last year, and I loved the way I felt during those 100 days. And then after those days were up, I completely stopped and got 2,000, 3,000 steps a day. So I do also have an active job, so it's a little easier. So think about what steps you're getting now. Maybe if you're getting 2,000 to 3,000 steps a day, maybe a good goal to aim for would be 4,000 or 5,000 steps a day. So you have to choose something that's going to be realistic, but that's still going to be an increase from what you're currently doing. So I started with that specific goal of 10,000 steps a day, and I know I can measure that. So I'm doing my SMART goal. It's specific. I can measure it with my Garmin watch. It's attainable for me, it's realistic, and it's timely, where I want to do this for 1 year. Now, I've been using habit stacking. If you're not familiar with habit stacking, you use a well-established habit or routine, and you add on your new habit to that established habit. So for example, I have an established routine with my husband that after we eat dinner, we sit on the couch and we watch a show or a movie. So he started before me and started biking in front of the TV. So he brought his little stationary bike and would bike in front of the TV. And then I would just sit there on the couch watching the TV and him biking. So what I started to do was marching in place or jogging in place or just doing random moves while we're watching the TV. Yes, you may look goofy doing it, but it's definitely helped my hip pain overall. And because I've been sitting less and I'm maybe not in a slouched position on the couch, I'm definitely getting more steps in this way. So I'm combining my love of drama-filled reality TV with exercising. So another example of habit stacking might be if you want to drink more water. You already have your established habit of brushing your teeth in the morning. So then maybe before or after you brush your teeth, you drink a glass of water. So those are kind of an examples of habit stacking. Now, the social support of sharing my goal with my husband, I've shared it with my close friends, coworkers, has helped me so much to stay on track. And each day I hit my step goal, my little watch buzzes, and it tells me how many days of my streak I'm at. And that's motivating for me. And then another way I'm rewarding myself often is each month I complete of 10,000 steps a day, I'm buying myself something small for the house to decorate. We just moved, so we have a lot of decorating to do. So that's my reward to myself, is just something small to make the house cozier, but then it also keeps me motivated to keep moving forward. Last example is to target the cue of a bad habit. Something else we're working on is cooking more meals from home. I found that when I would get home after a long day of work, the last thing I wanted to do was figure out A, what we're going to eat, B, who's going to cook it, C, who's going to clean up after cooking the meals. So then we would just end up eating out, which I don't make the greatest choices for my health when we eat out. So we're trying to eliminate all of those little micro decisions around food. So I've started at the beginning of each week planning out the meals that we want to cook, and I make a grocery list. I go shopping every Sunday just for the food that we need that week. I know this is not realistic for everyone, depending on your family and all your other circumstances, but this kind of works for us, so it might work for you. Make a little grocery trip every Sunday, plan out what we're going to eat. So then when I get home from work, my husband gets home, we can take a look at the schedule. We already know we have the food to make the meal, and then we prepare dinner, eat, and both clean up afterwards. This has not only been good for us to spend more time together, trying new meals, trying new dishes, but then we're also getting off of our phones and just spending time together. So I targeted the cue of the bad habit, which was being exhausted after work, not really wanting to do anything. So we would eat out, and I scheduled in a plan so that it wasn't as overwhelming. So I know that was a lot of information, but think about your own lifestyle and what small change could you start today or tomorrow? Please share in the chat if you'd like a habit you want to start to work on or to improve on. Continuing on the topic of nutrition, one of my favorite nutrition tips I've learned over the years is to live in abundance. We only have so much time in our day and there are hundreds of things going on. So why would you want to spend your time restricting yourself, being miserable, being hungry all the time? So try changing your mindset to thinking about, oh, I can't eat this, I can't eat that, and think about, what more could I add? How can I live in abundance? What can you add to your diet? What else can you throw in some more whole, less processed foods to your diet? Keep in mind, this is all a spectrum and we are starting from somewhere different for each person. If you don't eat any fruits or vegetables right now, and I said, okay, Kyle, eat an apple for breakfast and then a side of fruit for lunch and some broccoli for dinner, that may not be attainable, or it might be, but you have to look and think, how can you add in more whole, less processed foods than you're currently eating? So maybe if you have just yogurt for breakfast, maybe you throw in some fruit or some seeds, or maybe you have a breakfast burrito. I know the breakfast burritos at the cafeteria are so good and I love them. So how can I maybe add in something in addition to the breakfast burrito to keep me full longer? Or maybe can I make my own breakfast burrito and add in some peppers, something like that? Can you add in seeds to a salad? Can you add in nuts? So just think about what else can you add, because you're filling yourself up with those more whole, less processed foods, which also help you stay fuller, longer, more fuller longer. But then you have, in theory, less room for the foods that are the bad foods or the more processed foods. So that's a fun way to look at things. And you can always think about, what else can you add to your diet? The final tip for owning your lifestyle is looking at stress management. We've gone into depth so many times on all of these different techniques, so I encourage you to check out our self-care webinar, many other ones. But here's just a few ideas, ways that you can own your lifestyle with stress management. And here are some resources catered just toward that stress management side of things that you can click the links, learn more. So we wanted you to be able to have some true take-home resources and tools versus just us talking. So please take this information afterwards, check out the videos, check out Rethink Care, formerly known as Will, check out our live offerings. I'll now turn it over to Kelly.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Anna. And I love to see that heart health exercise symbol there. For my heart health exercise, I chose my favorite relaxation method. It's efficient, effective. You can do it anywhere. And I was pretty certain that many of us didn't want to attempt to do 40 push-ups at this very moment. So we are going to do a box breathing exercise. Some people may know this as square breathing. It's a deep breathing technique that can help slow down your breathing. It works by distracting your mind, calming your nervous system, and decreasing stress in your body. So the takeaway is that you're going to be inhaling through your nose for a 4 count, nice, slow, big breath. You're going to hold it for 4 seconds. Then you're going to exhale through the mouth for 4 seconds. And once again, hold for 4 seconds. So it creates that box. I will guide you through the first time, and I'll have you do it a second time on your own, and just paying attention to how you feel if you notice any changes in your body. All right, so here we begin, breathing in through the nose for 4, 3, 2, and hold. 4, 3, 2, exhale through the mouth. 4, 3, 2, hold. And 4, 3, 2, continue on your own, one more cycle. Feel free to see or add on the chat if you've done that before, have used this method, or if you felt any difference right away. Sometimes it takes maybe 4 of those breaths. I know it's really beneficial for me because it's fast, and then I can also do it anywhere if you're driving and it's frustrated, or with children. Also, if you're anxious, it really gets your mind into counting. And I just really enjoy taking that breath of air or exhaling. I had no idea how challenging holding a breath for 4 seconds can be after that. So hopefully you found some use in that. So the R for go red is risk factors. So recognizing your risk factors. Now, 80% of strokes may be prevented. There's risk factors that can be managed that you could control or treat with lifestyle change and your healthcare provider's help. It might have to be a prescription drug. It's not necessarily curing, but managing. And those are high blood pressure, smoking, high blood cholesterol, inactivity, obesity or overweight, and diabetes. Now, there's risk factors that we can't control. Unfortunately, we cannot control our age. It would be very interesting to see which age you all would choose if you had to pick an age to stay at, but that is something we cannot control. Gender, hereditary, race, and your previous stroke or heart attack, any previous illnesses. So taking a look at who is at greatest risk, heart disease is the leading cause of death for men, women, and most racial ethnic groups in the US. However, American Indians are 3 times more likely than Caucasians to have diabetes. And this is a major risk factor for heart disease. So having some underlying illnesses, as you see in the first column of risk factors, can lead towards heart disease, so they correlate. For women, gestational diabetes raises your risk of coronary vascular disease by 68% later in life. And then men generally develop coronary vascular disease at a younger age and have a higher rate or risk of cardio heart disease than women. Now, women are at a higher risk of stroke at an older age due to hormonal changes during menopause. The hormonal changes during menopause can increase this risk in form of higher blood pressure and cholesterol levels. So going back to Kyle's slide of knowing your numbers, getting checked, it is important to, even if you don't have high blood pressure now or cholesterol, you want to get that checked annually. And we have those screenings, and as well as on the Healthier Together Hub, you can always see when you're due for things if you track that. So that's really important to keep playing into it. So now we're going to take a look at non-biological risk factors that can play actually the biggest role in shaping people's health. So health disparities are social determinants of health. And there's many social factors that affect a person's health, such as the person's ability to access money and resources for life's basic needs, quality education, quality healthcare, a safe living environment, for example, like clean air and water, access to nutritious foods, vegetables, fruits, and supportive relationships. Now, these factors all correlate and interconnect. You know, if somebody is in poverty, they probably most likely are not going to have quality healthcare or insurance, as well as resources for those nutritious foods and vegetables. They could also be living in an area with poor air control or water. So that's kind of these things that really make a big change and can really affect people more than any of your biological traits. So getting on to this next slide, it's knowing the difference between cardiovascular disease, heart disease, coronary heart disease. You hear the CVD, CHD, all these things. And this is one that you can always come back to. It probably pertains more to you if you or someone you know has been diagnosed with a disease like coronary heart disease versus cardiovascular disease. And the main difference is that the cardiovascular disease is heart disease. It's a catch-all phrase. So heart disease is a type of cardiovascular disease, and it's really all types of diseases that affect the heart or blood vessels, where coronary heart disease is really more about the narrowing of small blood vessels that supply blood and oxygen to the heart. So this is a good one to come back to if you have questions on that. But we're going to get to Anna, who's going to lead us in a heart health exercise before she discusses the E in red. So let's see how it relates to education.
All righty. So today, this next heart health exercise, we're going to stand up and continue kind of a mix of everyone's exercises so far. We're going to take 5 deep breaths using our arms and legs all together. So we're just combining breath with movement now. So if you're able, stand on up. If not, feel free to stay in your seat and just do everything with just your upper body. So we're going to stand on up and take your feet a little bit wider than your hips. And we're just going to take 5 deep breaths. On your inhale, you're going to reach your arms up. On your exhale, you're going to reach down. All right, so let's inhale, reach your arms up, a little bend in the knees, reach all the way up. Exhale, arms by your sides, sweep down to the floor. Inhale, reach up. You can be vocal. And exhale. Good. A few more, breathe in. Big stretch up and out. Let's do 2 more. Breathe in. And out. Last one, breathing in. And out. Nicely done. You can stay standing if you'd like, or you can take your seat again. So that's a great way to refresh. If you have a quick break between meetings, it doesn't have to be a long stretch, and you can connect breath with movement. So moving on to E of Go Red is educate your family. Now this can be, I find this to be one of the most challenging aspects of the Go Red acronym. It can be difficult to have these conversations with family, with friends, with colleagues, but it's the direction we need to move if we are to see changes in our communities. So for me, I'm starting to talk more with my family about my goals, and I'm trying to get them to share what their goals are and see how I can help. We have to be that support system for others, and then they can be your support system in return. So I challenge you to educate your family, and you can just do that simply by talking about Go Red. And maybe you attended this webinar and you learned some great things. Maybe you wanted to send the recording to them. Maybe you just wanted to encourage them to get checked, to know their numbers. Another great way to educate is to learn hands-only CPR. It is 2 steps to save a life. So you can call 911 and then you push hard and fast. There's a link on the slide deck to a minute video that you can watch to learn how to perform CPR or get a refresher if you forgot since the last time you had a training. But it is a very quick and simple way that you can save a life is by practicing hands-only CPR. And then you don't have to worry about how many compressions, how many breaths. You just go with straight CPR.
Suddenly collapsed. It is
Okay. There we go. Okay. So moving on to the letter D is don't be silent. And for our final heart health exercise, we will be drinking some water. So find some water nearby, or if you don't have any water and you only have coffee, there's a little water in there, but just drink a sip of water. And then I'd also challenge you to write down your action plan on how you will educate your family. So you can take that into action. Maybe type it up on your phone, write it down on a piece of paper, how you will do that. So my way is I'm going to talk to my family later on about getting their blood pressure checked. Just one moment. Okay. So as at the top, I've linked where it says find more resources here. We've gathered a few incredible heart health resources. There's some fact sheets, there's a few trackers, a few PDFs if you want to learn more. A great way, if you're kind of struggling to figure out where should you start, what should you focus on, we have compiled all those resources for you on our SharePoint site. I challenge you to truly take all of these statistics you've heard today to heart. This month of heart health awareness, the Go Red platform, all of the initiatives that you see over the coming months, all of our wellness programming can serve as, like Kyle mentioned, that catalyst for change to improve the lives of women, men, non-binary individuals of all races globally. So it's no longer just about wearing red. It's no longer just about sharing heart health facts. It's about everyone, all of us, making a commitment to stand together with Go Red and to take charge of our own heart health, and as well as the heart health of those that we can't bear to live without. Making a commitment to your health isn't something you have to do alone. So grab a friend, grab a colleague, a family member, and go red today.
All right, thank you, Anna. And so want to leave going over some upcoming events and weekly live offerings. We have these weekly live offerings. You want to check this out. We have added more activities to our schedule, such as the positive posture breaks. This is a new one that started in January. Really good for us office workers hunching over. So that's a great one that Isaac does. We also have NIA virtual group exercise class. This is Jill, who's new to our Healthier Together team in Lafayette, the new building there in Colorado, and it's somewhat like a dance class, really fun. Check it out. So lots of resources to watch live during your workday. Most of them are 15 minutes, half hour at most, so you can pick. I like adding to my calendar, so at least I get those alerts, whether or not you can always attend them or not, but you get those alerts to remind you. And then for upcoming events and opportunities, we have an excellent plant-powered wellness webinar in March. And this is going to be led by a registered dietitian through the electronic in the cafeteria there from Mountain View. So this will be a really good one. And just talking about how plant-powered will, the benefits of it, and just kind of how Anna described the living in abundance and really getting more of that plant rather than processed food. Currently, we have a low back maintenance fitness focus, and you can join that at any time. Any of these fitness focuses, you can always go back and do whenever you want. It's not set by date, so you can do it when it's best for you. We push it each month, a different focus, but this is a great one for your back and core. And then we have a pantry makeover challenge for the month of March. So decluttering, reorganizing, giving your pantry a makeover for National Nutrition Month. So really trying to set your pantry up for success. And there'll be a chance to win a Healthier Together swag box, but no sandbagging here. Don't put all the Valentine's candy in your closet right now and take a picture just to set yourself up. So that should be a fun one. I'm looking forward to that, to see what people put. And with all of this that we have hosted today, we would really please consider supporting the American Heart Association by using the QR code to donate to American Heart Association, and you'll receive a 1-to-1 match from the Medtronic Foundation. So really appreciate your support, your help, and moving forward. And especially since tomorrow is Be Kind Day, Kindness Day. So give to another and help those in need and help with research. It's very important, as we all know.
Excellent. Well, this has been great. Nice conversations throughout chat. Love the participation and also the sharing of experiences and some of those kind of action items as well. So again, thank you for taking time out of your day today to have this heart-to-heart with us. Utilizing chat, please share just one more time, one way you will go red, or at least an action item that you are planning to begin. Don't forget to join the Healthier Together Yammer community to learn about upcoming challenges, programs, and other resources available to you. Exactly what Kelly just kind of finished off with here. But remember to go red, get your numbers, own your lifestyle, realize your risk, educate your family, and don't be silent. Let's go red and take care of our hearts together.
Thank you, everybody. We hope you have a great rest of your day, and we will see you on March 9th for our plant-powered webinar. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Kyle.